comedy, pop culture, and everything in between. By idiots, for idiots. Welcome, sinners. This is Sports Idiot Nation.
Welcome in, sinners. It is a Thursday again, the August 29th edition. So, today, as we are gearing up for September, which means all things football, I got to ask you guys, what do you do to gear up for the season to give yourself like a pick-me-up? I know I will say that as I'm joined by Miles behind enemy lines, of course, and Mr. T.I., I know Miles pretty well. I have to assume that this dude has already watched Remember the Titans like twice in the past week.
Well, with having a little one, I've always got Disney Plus up, so sometimes I hijack it for myself and watch Remember the Titans. Hell yeah. Dude, Louis Lastik. So I live in Clarksville. Louis Lastik went to Austin P, and he's actually buried at Hilldale Church, just about 6 miles away from me. True story.
Wow.
No, I definitely enjoy that one. But usually when I watch sports movies, man, it's for nostalgia, honestly. Like, I'll go back and watch ones from when I was a kid. Sandlot, of course, Mighty Ducks. You got Benny the Jet Rodriguez, and then also same actor played Louis Mendoza. And we'll get into it a bit. I've got a lot of complaints about the Mighty Ducks, even though it's one of my favorite movie franchises of all time.
All right, so let's find out from T.I. then some of his sports movies, and we'll get your gripes then on those movies then.
Oh, man. Sports movies for me. I mean, growing up, I'm a dinosaur, so of course, Bad News Bears. I mean, the OG Bad News
You're
Bears.
just enough older than me that
I mean,
I
Walter
know of
Matthau.
it, but
those movies were always on TV when I was a kid. Of course, like those were always fun to watch. In a way, I kind of think growing up talking about Disney, we'll take Disney back old school. Like I even think like the old Herbie movies in a way, like the original Herbie
Rides Again.
Like those were kind of sports movies in a way. So, but you had the silly car and it was alive. So as a kid, of course, I loved that. But as I got a little older, Happy Gilmore, fantastic. Of course, as Miles here has the Indians hat on here. Major League is my all-time favorite sports movie. I even like Major League 2. I even enjoy it.
Not as good, but
no, it's not as good. But how many sequels really are that? In real
once
life?
they took out Wesley Snipes,
but you know what? The old Jefferson from Married with Children is Ted. What's his name? The actor, I can't remember his name, McLaughlin or something like that. But
everyone
Al
forgot his
Bundy's
name. Don't worry.
Yeah, he was Al Bundy's neighbor. Married with Children. Like he's great. So I enjoy Major League too. But yeah, I'm kind of the same way. Remember the Titans, of course. It's a classic. You can't beat that. All the Mighty Ducks
Tighten
movies
up.
as a kid. But as we got older, I mean, sports movies they don't have that kind of magical aspect they had when we were kids. I mean, you still get great stories of, I think there was a most recent one, I think with George Clooney or something about like the rowing team, like the Olympic rowing team or something. So I mean, we're still getting sports movies, but they don't have that same effect when you're an adult that they did when you were a kid.
Because as a kid, you think you can become that one day, and as an adult, you realize you sucked as an athlete.
No, you realize you're like these guys are 20 years younger than me. My life is over. I'm done. Chalk it up.
With your size, T.I., I bet you loved Little Giants. That was your ultimate underdog story for you.
Little Giants, Rookie of the Year. What's that movie with the monkey and the guy from Friends? Ed? Was it just called Ed? I don't know, man.
It was just called Ed. Yeah.
I mean, that's the kind of.
Oh God.
I mean,
Air
but
Bud.
hey, that's what I was about to say. Air Bud. I mean, Air Bud, golden receiver. What a great pun, man! What a great
pulling
pun.
out all the stops.
That's a
Little
dad
Giants.
joke if I've ever heard it.
Little Giants was definitely good. Which shout out to our homegirl Adriana, guys. If you have not checked out last week's episode, dear Lord, dare I say pause this and go back? Like, dare I say that? Because make sure you check out after this episode, make sure you check out last week when we had our special guest Adriana on from the New York Football Giants. Just talking about Little Giants made me think of it. We're going to plug her as much as we can in the coming weeks because, dude, that was so fun. So, all right, we're talking sports movies basically. I want to share. The link is going to be in the show notes here. We're going to drop it in there because I want to go through. Miles has some gripes that we'll get to, but I want to share. This is from movieweb.com. And so there's a list of 25, and I want to go through a few of them. And what I want to point out is I want to jump to the good stuff. I'm not going to go 25, 24, 23. You can go some other podcast for that. By the way, the best way to watch the podcast is going to be by subscribing to the YouTube channel. Make sure you hit the notification bell so that you can be updated when we drop new content, which is going to be every Thursday and Monday. Follow us on Apple and Spotify as well. So again, movieweb.com. I wanted to point out an interesting note. So listen to these top 5 movies, and it's very interesting, a common thread, and I want to see if you guys catch this. All right, here we go. So number 1, again, this is movieweb.com. Check the link in the show notes if you want to grab this and let us know if you agree with the top 25. So at number 1 is Field of Dreams, and number 2 is Hoosiers. Number 3 is Brian's Song. Number 4 is Rocky, and number 5 is Rudy. Now, take 2 seconds if you want. T.I., I'll ask you first. Out of those top 5, I don't want to find out how much you agree with it. What I want to find out
Rocky.
is, did something in particular...
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you wanted to know which one.
Not asking your favorite ice
to be my
cream
favorite
flavor. I want to know, did anything stand out? Did anything jump out to you about those top 5 movies the way it hit me? I'm just curious. Anything?
Underdog stories.
Okay, not bad. I like that.
Yeah.
Miles, you got anything?
Take it under. I mean, Rudy, Rocky. I mean, both of those back to back. Those are total underdog stories.
Hoosiers.
I mean, just the story of how Rocky was made. The movie in general is underdog story.
He literally was the underdog. He had to sell his dog,
dude,
and they had to buy him back for like triple the price later.
Yeah, nobody believed in him. He one of his stipulations was, look, if you buy my script, I star in it, and nobody wanted to give him a shot.
Guys, I'm dumbfounded here because of those 5, you didn't even mention the biggest underdog story of the 5 in Field of Dreams.
Dodgeball,
Field of Dreams is the biggest underdog story there. They're about to foreclose the house on him. His life is about to be completely ruined. And then out of nowhere, he decides, because of a voice he heard, to build this field. If you build it, he will come. The biggest... He will come. No, if you build that's one of the most misheard lines from a movie. If you build it, they will come. No, if you build it, he will come. It's in reference to his father. Yeah, you're gonna piss me off now because that is my favorite sports movie of all time. Yeah, it's him. It's talking about
Bears thing,
right? The Mandela effect. The Mandela effect. But that's the biggest underdog story, maybe in sports movie history. He's about to have his whole entire life. A whole entire upheaval of his life. He decides to take this risk, and it worked out pretty damn well.
So I'm going to run through.
I'm not opposed to that movie being top because I mean that's a fantastic movie. Fantastic.
James Earl Jones kills it.
Yeah. So I'm going to run through a couple things, and I want to see if you guys catch this. All right, Field of Dreams, Miles. Where does it take place?
1. Oh, in Iowa. I thought you meant where does it take place in the top 25 for me? 1.
No. Okay. All right. T.I. Hoosiers, where's that movie based?
Really? It's based in Indiana, right?
Okay.
What town?
Right.
What town?
Okay.
Milan.
I mean,
no,
I don't know that.
No one cares that. I will say, I've been in that gym. It is awesome. It's all that gym is awesome, epic. If you have a chance to go tour it, it's so cool. Number 3, Brian's Song is about the what Bears? Okay, Chicago. Okay, number 4 is Rocky. Okay, Philadelphia. And number 5, Rudy. Where does that take place? Where's Notre Dame?
South Bend, Indiana.
Okay. Does anything jump out at you when you hear those 5 places? I'm just curious the way it jumped out to me.
Midwest.
Boom. That's what hit me. I'm like, that's very interesting that 4 out of the top 5, with Philadelphia being the outlier, that they're all within like freaking 200 miles of each other. Like, that's kind of odd. Like, there's something about like
nothing
that
to do
Midwest
there except play sports. Nothing to do.
It's like, Yeah.
Because
It's
what
like
else
that.
do we got in the
Work.
Midwest?
No, I know.
You wake up, you go to work, or you play sports. That's all you do.
Yeah, man. I just think that's kind of cool. Any qualms of the top five? Anything you guys got?
I mean, maybe it's not my top five, but
No, that's fair.
they're all arguably top five movies. I really am like, hey, that's a pretty good list right there.
So I'll run through just a few. Caddyshack at number 8 is is funny. I do not enjoy another Midwest, A League of Their Own. And I'm not saying just because it was about girls. I don't know. There's other sports movies that I'd rather watch, just to be completely honest. Sandlot I'd put ahead, where they have Sandlot at number 11, just behind A League of Their Own. But Major League is at 12. Another good one is
top
8
10.
Men Out. That's at 18.
Where's
so-
basketball at?
Yeah, it's at 37, so it didn't make the list. I
think you'll have a better shot with Bill.
That's unofficial. But
Well, that list is not my list.
I want to ask you guys about a couple other ones before we find out from Miles about Mighty Ducks and was it Sandlot, Miles? Those are the two that we want to find out about a little bit.
We can talk about that. I was thinking
that
more about Major League was up there for me. I mean, I could go on and on. I mean, pick a movie, shout it out.
The qualms, no. The qualms that we had was with Mighty Ducks, and wasn't it one other that was paired with it?
It's really just
Mighty Ducks franchise.
What was paired with it is Benny the Jet Rodriguez from Sandlot is also in Mighty Ducks.
Oh, okay.
He's in D2.
So here's what I wanted to know. Movies like, let's say, Moneyball. That one comes to mind. Like, man, that's one of those movies that when it comes on in passing, like if I get home and my roommate just has it on in the background, I literally just drop what I'm doing and I'm literally watching it. Like, and at whatever point it is, I'm watching it till the end. Like, Jonah Hill is so good in that movie. And when they run through and show, there's like a montage where they're talking about baseball is a sport of numbers and blah, blah, blah. And they have all these names go through the computer. You can check it. Brian Reith, pitcher for the Reds, pitched against Barry Bonds, was 1 year ahead of me in high school and went to my Concordia Lutheran High School in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And I just thought it was the coolest thing that his name is up there and that he's in the movie Moneyball. Like, I just thought that was pretty cool. But that movie, I mean, I don't care for the A's. I don't care for any of that stuff. But, dude, when they say, how could you not be romantic about baseball? And a team goes on to win 20 games in a row. Like, even if you're not a baseball fan, like, Brad Pitt nailed that. Am I romanticizing that movie more than what I should?
No, that's a great film. Fantastic film. I can't disagree. I mean, if you think it might be one of the last real like sports movies that people actually went and saw in a theater, I mean, I'm trying to think back the last sports movie that I paid, to see in a theater.
That's a good call.
To me, it was like, I mean, I didn't see that in the theater, but I mean, I might even go back as far as like Any Given Sunday. Like that's just how far back. Like sports movies are kind of in a way like you can kind of wait for them. It's like you're going to go see Deadpool, Wolverine, you're going to go see MCU, or you're going to go, if you're going to go chuck $50-$60 down, you could kind of wait for Moneyball to watch on video, and that's kind of how I felt about that. But it's a great film. But yeah, I mean, Any Given Sunday, I went with a group of folks. We loved it. But I mean, that was just a different time frame.
Willie Beeman.
Yeah, I mean, that was and still a great film. It's not perfect. It's not perfect at all, but it's still fun, super fun to watch. And there's a lot of parallels of not only just, football, of course, but just modern society and just life. Of course, it's Oliver Stone. Oliver Stone does fantastic work, like whether you love him or hate him, like his movies are good,
So I got to jump in here real quick with Moneyball. I think the thing about that movie that a lot of people overlook because he wasn't Brad Pitt was that movie changed the trajectory of Jonah Hill's career. And if it wasn't for his role in Moneyball, we would have never gotten Wolf of Wall Street the way we saw it. Because before that, Jonah Hill was strictly the fat, funny kid. After that movie, we realized, hey, this guy is a dynamic actor. Yeah, and then even a movie like War Dogs, which I love, he's still the funny guy, but he plays even a little bit more serious role in that. And then Wolf of Wall Street, he's not a comedic actor in that. It showed he's well-rounded, and a movie, come on. Wolf of Wall Street's iconic. I know it's not a sports movie, but that helped propel him to where he was. So a lot of these movies we think, oh, at face value, hey, they're good, they're not so good, whatever. They actually have a large impact on the industry as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
Great movie. Yeah. Wolf of Wall Street, Jonah Hill's career. I mean, great movies. One thing that just hit me, who you guys taking? Shane Falco or Willie Beeman?
Willie Beeman's a better quarterback. Or
does he have as much?
Tough.
He's so selfish.
It's tough. Or is he? Is he selfish? Or is he just young? You know?
Man,
I think
I have this. As Gene Hackman says, in multiple movies, in multiple sports movies, man, greatest coaches of all time, Gene Hackman. How many times is he going to play a coach?
Oh yeah, I'm still taking Willie Beeman. Falco, I think he's a flash in the pan. I don't think he can maintain.
Yeah. He's a scab.
Yeah, I gotta take Willie Beeman as well.
I just like that the guy from The Office played the deaf guy, the deaf tight end. Roy from The Office is the deaf tight end in that movie. It's just like when you see him, it's just weird to see his character not be able to talk because he's deaf. Like you're like, wait, that's Roy. He should be able to talk. He should be getting jealous of Jim.
Yeah. Is that why Pam left him?
But what about other sports movies? Like before we kind of give Miles of Florida kind of, clear the air on the Mighty Ducks saga
and we may never
movies.
get there.
Nah, we're about to hand it over because I gotta hear him vent about the Mighty Ducks. I gotta hear him about Emilio, Gordan Bombay. But what about the other movies like Rounders or like Color of Money, or some of those movies that are more so like card movies, or like Color of Money?
Well, 21 with Jim Sturgis.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one. So like are those sports movies like it's hard to say. Like to me, like they're still enjoyable and they might as well be a sports movie. It's the same concept. It's a very small market that you're targeting, right? And that's what I feel like sports movies like. Unless it's a historic story, like you're targeting a very small market to begin with, so it has to be a fantastic movie, like the Jordan movie Air about the shoe. I don't know if you guys have seen it. I enjoyed it. Thought it was great.
Yes. Oh, I saw it 23 times.
And it's
probably.
like people are like, "Oh, you're going to make a movie about people who made a shoe," and they nailed it. Like it's so
Jason
well done.
Bateman, and Matt
so
Damon,
it's like
and those
it's
guys.
all about you. You just have to have a compelling story, and you have to have the right cast and the right director, or there's just no point of doing a sports movie because you just don't get it. You can't walk into, if you don't understand the subject matter, you can't walk in and make a masterpiece. You have to be passionate about that. And I think that's where you have to find the right director to really make the sports movie work.
The movie 21 drove me to learn how to count cards. Only single deck, and it's not something I kept up with. Like, speaking of foreign language, if you don't use it, you lose it. But that movie, I was like, I think I can do that. And I did for a little while. Didn't really make much money off of it.
I thought it was because you were autistic. I just figured you were autistic.
I only got a touch of autism. We all know that. I'm only a little on the spectrum.
I dodged it like Shane Gillis.
My wife told me to get off the spectrum pronto.
I'm on it. I'm getting on it.
Baby, this is me. Love it or leave it.
Yep. So, all right.
All right, Gordan Bombay, is he an asshole or not? Tell us, Miles.
Emilio Sheen.
The arguably the worst sports movie coach of all time. Yeah. He is hot garbage. So the first movie, the way they set it up, hey, it's great. I dig it. If you've seen the movie Champions with Woody Harrelson recently, that movie is basically Mighty Ducks all over again. I think it's on Peacock. It's a good movie. I enjoy it. Check it out. But Gordan Bombay, he has no ethos whatsoever. He knows the game, but he doesn't know how to teach it. Take the fall, act hurt, get indignant. And then he's supposed to have this big moral awakening. But where does that come about? I mean, he meets Charlie's mom. He's supposedly off camera, gets laid, and then suddenly he has this big turnaround. It's ridiculous. But you even get to the end of that movie, he doesn't do anything. When he gets Adam Banks, he really is cutting the system, make the rules work his way to get one good player, and then they make this magical run in the playoffs. They take on the Cardinals. They get this lucky play. One lucky play is one good play call in really two movies because he's not the coach in the third.
The
which we'll
knuckle
get to.
puck? Was that the knuckle puck or
no?
no?
It wasn't.
Flying V.
They faked the knuckle puck, and then he dumps it down low, and he scores it. That's his one good play call in the two movies that he actually coached. The third movie we'll get to in a little bit that he doesn't coach at all. Anyways, from there, the biggest BS of the entire franchise is they take this ragtag team from Minnesota that got lucky as hell with Adam Banks, and they turn them into Team USA. That's insane. All they had to do was take the Hawks, put Adam Banks back on, and then add Julie the Cat and goalie, and you have a dominant team. And then they're going to play Iceland in D2. That doesn't make any damn sense. They don't play any hockey in Iceland. Now, if we back up a little bit, the directors wanted to make the main nemesis Russia. But remember, that movie came out in the mid-'90s. The Soviet Union just fell about 4 or 5 years before. So they realized, hey, with tensions just kind of being where they are, they didn't want to make it about Russia. Yeah. So they back off. But you could have picked any other country in the world and you go with Iceland. Like, that's so cheesy. Come on. And then furthermore, do you remember who Team USA
chose Jamaica?
Well, you're getting to my point. Who was Team USA's first opponent in D2?
I'm sure you'll tell us.
Trinidad and Tobago, who's never even heard of the sport. Now, shout out to Trinidad and Tobago, the sickest fake jerseys of all, fan fiction jersey of all time. Look it up. Trinidad and Tobago. They're bubblegum jerseys. They are absolutely gorgeous. But really, you got a guy playing the drums. What is that? They're playing the drums when they score one goal and they're down 12-1. They don't have a hockey team. And then they play Italy, and then they beat Italy like 7-2. Italy, we know, doesn't play hockey. And then after the game, Gordan Bombay says, guys, that wasn't just a win. That was a statement. Mofo, you just beat Italy in hockey. No one cares. And then you play Team Iceland. Gordan Bombay reverts back to the man who he truly is, which is a coward and soft pussycat. He slicks his hair back to look like Wolf. He starts dating the trainer for Iceland, and they go out and get drubbed. And he thinks the best way to help the team get motivated is to make them skate laps after the game. Like, Gordon, no, this is on you.
Sure.
And then, obviously, his players don't take classes. They're falling asleep in class. It's all his fault. They're calling him Captain Blood. And then, eventually, they're going to have to move on to the next round. And, suddenly they're fine. The team's got chemistry again out of nowhere because, Gordan Bombay went and met with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And he throws a party. And now suddenly he's this virtuous coach now. Just kind of like in the first movie. It just out of nowhere. He's a good coach now. They make the run. They get down 4 goals against Iceland. And he gives this huge rah-rah speech about ducks fly together. And then they change their jerseys after the second period. And then Kenny Woo 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 does this dip and twirl through the air. And then that launches a great comeback. It makes absolutely no sense. But then once they get to the penalty shootouts, then he's going to put Julie the Cat, who's clearly the best goaltender on the face of the earth for juniors. He finally puts her in just for that moment. Come on, Goldberg is trash. We all know it. I'm glad he's had a turnaround in life. He's back with us again.
He was great in heavyweights, though.
He was heavy.
I'm sure that made him a great hockey player and a great goaltender. So his coaching style makes absolutely no sense. There is no moral of the actual movies whatsoever. And then we get to D3. D3 is a hated-on movie, and if you actually go back and watch it, it's the only movie of the franchise that actually has any value or moral to it. You get Ted O'Ryan, the JV coach for the high school that they play at, and he's made out to be the villain of the movie. This dude, if you go back and watch, this dude is one of the best coaches that you can imagine. His precision, his attention to detail, and actually holding the kids accountable for their actions. And of course, their teenage kids are 14, 15 years old, so they hate him. But the whole point of the movie, they try to make him out to be the bad guy. But he brings the team together, creates team chemistry, and he does it through accountability and actually getting back to the fundamentals instead of playing rodeo out in the ice with the players like Gordan Bombay did. And the team at the end beats the varsity team, which that's a very anticlimactic finishing in and of itself. But the fact that you let Gordon Bombay be the hero of that franchise when you had a badass coach like Ted O'Ryan, look him up, boys and girls. It just is such a letdown when you go back and actually analyze those movies. Other than that, I think the movies are fantastic, and it's in my top 10 of all time for sports movies.
Gordon Bombay, though, just that name alone, you know, just like this guy with like a martini in his hands, like, I'm Gordon Bombay is his name. It's kind of what I picture, you know.
Oh yeah, and then the marketing guy for Hendricks Hockey in D2. God, the dude's such a weasel.
But while we're on, we touched on it just for a second. We can't get away from it because my mind cannot forget. If it does, I'll feel very sad. But Adam, you mentioned Jamaica. We're on Disney movies. We cannot pass without mentioning Cool Runnings. Okay, we have
Kiss the lucky egg.
We have to show some love to Cool Runnings. John Candy, like one of the absolute greatest to ever do it. Like Cool Runnings is a fantastic movie. I haven't seen it in years.
Doug, Leon.
I want to go watch
Malik
it right
Yoba.
now. So
Yeah.
as soon as this podcast is over, I'm going to go watch Cool Runnings.
Oh yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, dude.
One of the best fake prayers of all time. Our Father who art in Calgary, bobsled, be thy game.
Be that. Oh god,
Super.
Gold medals won.
Hey, Adam, look it up. Is Cool Runnings in that top 25 for sports movies of all time on that list? If it's not, throw that list out. Forget about it. I take back everything I said about that top 5 they did if Cool Runnings isn't on that top 25.
Yeah, it does not look like Miracles at 20. We Are Marshall is at 17.
Randy
Bull
Moss not in the
Durham
movie.
is
BS.
in there. Tin Cup is in there. I mean,
come on.
Over some of these, I will say 42 is in there. I did enjoy Chadwick Boseman as
Tin Cups in there. Let me guess, Bull Durham's in there or some shit.
Yeah, he already said that.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, we're actually recording a podcast, so you can actually go back and listen.
Cool.
Where
can I find it? Where can I find the podcast again? Can you remind me where I can
what
find
you want to do? Good, attaboy. way to pick up that fumble. So you can follow us on all social medias at Sports Idiot Nation. You can like and subscribe on Spotify and Apple, and you can watch us on Spotify as well. The most fun way to watch us is, of course, on YouTube. We are live every Monday and Thursday. Well, not live, but live, like here we are. We are here.
Premiered.
So yes, every Monday and Thursday, here we are.
And proof we're unscripted. Look at what this idiot up here above me just said. He fumbled his way into this promotional plug right here.
Exactly. Yeah, if you think any of this is scripted, like, you are sadly mistaken. We have no idea what's happening.
I don't even know how to read, so it's definitely not scripted.
That guy's vote doesn't count. He can't even weed. Big Daddy. Big Daddy reference, even though it's not sports. One thing that I wanted to point out, a movie that I watch with my buddy CJ, Miles knows him, we like to watch before the draft. Another Kevin Costner. We got to watch Draft Day. Another Chadwick Boseman. He's the linebacker from Ohio State in that movie.
Give me cancer now, God. That movie is so horrible.
Dude, it gets me fired up, though. It's fake. I get it. But it gets me fired up for the draft. Think through this. Think through this with me. What else is going on before the draft? I'll give you a hint. It's nothing. There's nothing going on before the NFL draft. There's nothing to do. There's no cool NFL stories. There's no sports world is like, eh.
What are you talking about?
There's no cool NFL stories about any of the players about to be drafted. No stories exist whatsoever about those people.
I love Dennis Leary as the coach of the Browns. Like, I love how he's just upset the entire movie, which he should be, because his GM is doing idiotic things. I love the idiotic GM of the Seahawks who gives away the pick and then buys it back later like an idiot because Kevin Costner convinces him that the fan base is going to crucify him, so he gives in.
That movie is more miserable than the Browns franchise. Brandon Perna of That's Good Sports, about 10 years ago after the movie came out, did a great 30-minute breakdown of why that movie is one of the worst movies of all time.
And yet I can't get enough.
Case closed.
Another one that's like it's a feel good, but it's not very good. Like the fakeness of it. I know is a real story about Vince Papale, but Invincible. Um, it it was, I don't know. What did you guys like that movie?
I preferred the Philly Eagles movie. I forget, it was a trash picking, garbage kicking Philadelphia phenom. I preferred that one over Invincible.
Garbage Pail Kids.
We're not a
Was
fan
it
of the
just called
Eagles.
Garbage Pail Kids, I think. Yeah, no,
What were you saying,
Invincible's
T.I.?
fine. I mean, it's a cool story and all, but whatever. I'd rather see the.
Do we lose our little buddy over there?
Always Sunny in Philadelphia make the team. And
I think
try
he'll
out.
pick up. Maybe.
T.I.,
now he's back.
You're back.
What happened? Yeah.
I love it.
Did I freeze?
Yeah, we thought you.
Yeah, I was going on and on and on. I was talking about Invincible and talking about how I'd rather watch the cast of Always Sunny in Philadelphia make the team over the
Vince Papale
story. So
yeah.
T.I., I still can't hear
fair.
You. No, I'm kidding. You're back. You're back.
No, you're back. No, he's good. Don't tell him that. Now he's just gonna mime the whole time. All right, what do you say we get out of here? Again, follow us on the social medias at Sports Idiot Nation. You can find us wherever you happen to be on social media. We are there. So find us and like and subscribe to the podcast. Remember, Apple and Spotify are the major players. And then, as always, the most fun way to watch is on YouTube. We have new shows for you every Thursday and Monday. So we will catch you Monday.
Okay, all you sinners, follow Sports Idiot Nation on TikTok, X, and Instagram. Like us on Facebook, and remember, the most fun way to watch us is on YouTube every Monday and Thursday. Be sure to hit the notification bell so you can be updated when new content drops. Remember, the podcast can also be found on the usual suspects of Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Always remember, don't be an idiot.
Sinner.